And one step at a time, I started that many years ago. I started that years ago, one step at a time, and it's registered, and it's called OSAT. That's the acronym, OSAT, one step at a time. So that's the whole idea, is to make change, positive change, one step at a time. And what I'm going to be talking about is processed food. Just so you know, a few years back, I wrote this book, The Food Bible. Maybe you're familiar with it, but in it, I talk about the chemicals that we find in our foods. And I know from what I have seen that chemicals in our foods, in our water, in the air, wherever, absolutely are toxic to our bodies. And so we need to eliminate that as much as possible, reduce it as much as possible. So what I did, I made a list of the different chemicals that I've written about in here. Now, know that there are many, many chemicals in our foods. Some of them you're familiar with, some of them you won't even be able to pronounce. But know that when you read a label, you should be able to read the words. You know, it should be wheat, oats, barley, tomatoes. It shouldn't be propylene glycol alginate. You know, those are not words that we want. Yes, Daniel.
Okay, about the MSG, a lot of times you'll see like Chinese food and they'll say, like sometimes Chinese food has MSG in it, and sometimes you'll buy a product at the store, it'll say no MSG. And so what is monosodium glutamate?
Yes.
What harm does that do to you?
With many people, well, first of all, it can affect the nervous system, which then means people can have a reaction like nerve type reaction. Other people, they break out. Other people, I know this happened. One person had symptoms of a heart attack. Ambulance was called. Okay, different people, different reactions, different symptoms. But I'm glad you brought that up, Daniel, because this is real interesting. This is a list of just 400 of the nutrients in an apple. A fruit or vegetable has over 12,000 different nutrients. On this list, you will find sodium and you will find glutamic acid, the ingredients in monosodium glutamate. This apple has sodium, it has glutamic acid, okay? But people can eat this apple, but many people cannot have MSG, okay? But when it's in this natural form in whole food, it's fine. It's just when we isolate it and concentrate it, it can become harmful. So we're going to just look down through here. There are many here. Alginates, aluminum, artificial colors, artificial flavors. Are there some here that you're thinking, what in the world is that?
Well, I've seen artificial flavors.
Okay.
And artificial colors, like they'll say, a product will say, so-and-so dye used to add color. You know?
Okay. You know. Let me share something with you, since we're on artificial colors. Let me get these out. Now, this is your typical Pop-Tart. It could be any type of processed food. Now, what we're looking at is processed foods, because when you go to the apple, the banana, whatever, it's not going to have this kind of a label, obviously. But let me share something with you. This has to do with the artificial colors. This has red number 40 lake, blue number 2 lake, red number 40, blue number 2 lake, yellow number 6, blue number 1, blue number 2. This is what we're feeding our kids many times for breakfast, or we eat it. Now, do you know what the lake means? Aluminum. This contains aluminum. Aluminum is tremendously toxic, affects the brain. Whenever you read a label, which I'm encouraging you to do, I want you to take these lists home, go through your cabinets, your refrigerators, your freezers, and look to see if you see any of these ingredients listed.
There's also another one. Have you ever heard of partially hydrogenated vegetable oil?
Oh, yeah.
That's supposed to be really bad.
And yes, anything partially hydrogenated. In fact, I'm thinking that's on there, maybe not. But absolutely, because that is the trans fats. And you may see a product that on the front says, no trans fats, and you think, oh, this is wonderful. Read the label. If it says hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated, whatever kind of oil, it has trans fats. The reason it can say no trans fats is because of a law that says if a product has less than 0.5 gram per serving, it can be labeled as no trans fats. So what do? They make the serving size so small that they can say no trans fats. So always, always read the ingredient. Don't trust what you see on the front. Okay? Good point there. Okay, there are some other things on here. Are there some that you've never heard of before? Should be a bunch of them.
TBHQ at the bottom.
Oh yes. This is put in as a preservative for freshness. This is really interesting. Like a box of cereal, for example. You read through the label and here's all the ingredients and you get through the vitamins and the minerals. Everything looks great and then there's a little space. Then under that it could say the packaging contains TBHQ. So you're still getting it. It may not be in the food, but it's in the packaging that's around the food, which of course it absorbs. Okay. Interesting. There's another one on there. Have you ever heard of EDTA? I really want you to look for that when you get home. Look for that in your products. It's real interesting. EDTA attracts metal. That's what it's a chelating agent. It attracts metals. And you're thinking, well, there are metals in our food. But think about this. I don't know if you bake anymore or we just buy everything already prepared, but let's just say you're going to bake a cake. And you're going to bake it in a stainless steel pan. And you put butter, oil, whatever, and you take a white paper towel and you spread it around to grease the pan. You look at the paper towel, what color is it?
Black.
It's kind of a gray color, because that is the metal that is coming off of that pan, that stainless steel pan. Okay? So when our products are processed, let's just say it's a salad dressing. What's the favorite salad dressing of everybody?
Ranch.
Ranch, okay, because it's white, okay? So they want that white color, but remember that's processed in this great big stainless steel vat, okay? So that stainless steel comes off into the ranch dressing. So they say, no, it's got to be white. People want white. So they put the EDTA in there to attract the metal. Keep in mind, we have priceless metal. You're talking about the minerals. We have priceless metals in our body that we do not want leached from our bodies. What are some of them?
Gold, silver.
Gold and silver. Okay. What are
magnesium, calcium, potassium, zinc,
okay.
selenium.
Iron, just copper, yes. These are valuable nutrients that we must have. Calcium being one of those, which you mentioned. Yes, and just think about that being leached from our bodies. So when you go home, I'm encouraging you to look through and see if you see those that ingredient. Also, it's in many of our cosmetics, lotions and such. That will not be on the label. Our cosmetics the ingredients do not have to be listed. You do not know if EDTA is in there. You have to call the company and ask. Yeah.
The lipstick's one of the worst.
Lipsticks, yes. Lead in the lipsticks, yes, yes. Okay, questions? Let's see if I've shared everything with you. I think I have. Oh, this is what we give our kids, okay? Flintstones, chewables, and others like these, Okay, let's look at the label on the back. Oh yeah, here is yellow number 6, Lake. Okay.
Aluminum.
Has aluminum. Blue number 2, Lake. And it also has aspartame. All of these things that affect the brain, the nervous system. And we wonder why our kids have ADHD and all of these things, autism. Yes. And we give these to, but we think we're doing what we should be doing. We just need to be educated. We need to know what we're giving our kids. So I encourage you, do your own research. Look at what you're eating. That's why I've given you this. Please go home and check your food And if you have products with these things in, you know, I'm not saying throw them out, but once you have eaten them, as you eat them thinking, God, I'm eating all these chemicals, once you've done that though, next time you go to the store, make a better choice, because there are good choices in the grocery store. There really are. One other thing, whenever you look for anything made with a grain, whether it's wheat, rye, corn, whatever it is, we do not want enriched. Enriched has been robbed of most all nutrients. We want, the word you want to look for is whole, W-H-O-L-E, whole wheat, whole rye, whatever it is, you want the whole, okay? Any question or comment about anything? Are you anxious to go home and look in your cabinets or not? Are you thinking, oh dear, I don't want to see? Are you anxious to see, to go home, see what you have?
A little scared.
I have a couple of questions for you. The
Okay.
propionic acid, that's not familiar to me.
Propionic, yes.
Yeah, and well, the next two below it too. Oh, propylene glycol, I know what that is.
Okay.
Propylene galate.
Propylgallate, yes.
Talk about those for a second.
Okay, these are all, they either extend the shelf life, many times that is it, or they preserve the color. It's to make it look better and last longer. That's usually what they're in here for. Or taste enhancer like the MSG. Now, that's usually what it is, but they're all chemicals, foreign chemicals to the body. Okay, so are you prepared now to go home and make some better choices next time you go to the grocery store? Yes?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
I've kind of gotten myself off of a processed food diet, but my vice is chocolate, and you know, I mean, that is processed, you know. So, but you know, what do you do?
But you know, and we can't be perfect.
I know. Yeah.
So once in a while, you know, but it's what we bring home from the grocery store for the most part should be free of the chemicals. And then every now and then it's okay. But the majority of what we do should be free of the chemicals. Yeah, okay. All right, guys. So next time you have to report back and what you found. I want to know, okay? Okay.